I'm Charlie Spice. I am the founder and president of Adult Industry Association, which is an international organization that addresses problems faced by the thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who are involved in the sex and adult entertainment industry around the world. Since I submitted this proposal to the government, I've been asked by many people in the streets, via phone calls, via social media, why am I doing this? Why do I want to obtain work permits for dancers across the region and across the world? The answer is very simple. For the past 2 years, since we launched the Adult Industry Association, we have received countless numbers of complaints from dancers, not only from across the region, but from the international market, who are concerned about the conditions under which dancers operate in the Caribbean. And I want to make a point that we're speaking about dancers, not sex workers. This is something that many people are doubtful about, and let's just clear that now. It is about dancers, not about prostitutes or other types of sex workers. We've received countless complaints, and they are concerned about the fact that being undocumented puts them at risk of a number of things. Sexual exploitation. They are at risk of being of human trafficking. They are at risk of sex trafficking. When individuals are aware that they are now part of a vulnerable group because they're undocumented, people have felt that empowered to take advantage of them in the following ways: charging them too much for rent. Even taxi drivers overcharge them. They're concerned that police officers on a number of occasions have exploited them for sexual favors, knowing their vulnerable status. Even immigration officers have on occasion taken advantage of their vulnerable status by exploiting them for sexual favors. When this legislation comes into reality, if we are successful with our petition to the government, this is going to change the landscape of this industry in many ways. One, it is going to make the dancers feel a lot safer. It is going to encourage dancers from all over the world to come to the Caribbean to perform, because they no longer have the fear of being arrested, incarcerated, and deported. And that will then lead to other financial benefits for the economy, which we'll speak about shortly. Many small businesses around the Caribbean will benefit significantly from this initiative. Taxi drivers, places that sell food, these girls patronize these places. Someone who has a nail salon, hairdressing salon. These girls are not just dancers, they're also visitors to the Caribbean. And as a result, they're going to be making a contribution to the economy from the spend that they make as a result of just being here for 3 months or 6 months. In my proposal to the governments, I made mention of figures in terms of what contribution these dancers will make to the economies around the region. This is based on an anticipated influx of 5,000 to 10,000 dancers per year per destination, each spending between $300 and $1,000 to obtain their permit. And the price of the permit will be determined by how long they want to stay in the destination, whether it's going to be a single club permit or a multi-club permit. And this is going to be a significant contribution financially to the government just from the permits alone. Now, each dancer will be here for a period of time, and they will be spending between $1,500 and $2,000 per month to live in each Caribbean destination. So my calculations are based on 5,000 to 10,000 dancers spending between $3,000 and $1,000 per permit, and spending between $1,500 and $2,000 per month just on living expenses. Investment is also a major consideration. In my research, I have found that major investors from the adult entertainment industry have avoided the Caribbean because they cannot invest substantive amounts of money and be under the risk that any given moment their dancers can be deported. Once that fear has been lifted, we will see an increase in interest in the Caribbean from major investors and each investor could probably invest between 5 and 10 million US dollars to buy and develop a massive club such as the Spearmint Rhinos of the world or the review clubs around the world. And I've already been in talks with a number of investors who have expressed an interest once this bill has been passed. That is an interesting perspective, and it has indeed been going on for well over 50 years. God knows how long, certainly in my lifetime, and will continue forever. The only entity that has not made money directly from this is the government. Taxis have been making money, salons have been making money, all the above. The only entity is the government. So this amendment of the Immigration Act will enable the government for the first time to now capitalize on this. I get a bit emotional when the conversation goes to the church and the church's reaction to this initiative. And I expect to have a firm stance from the church against this. But it is important to note that this is happening as we speak and will continue forever. We need the churches to understand that these individuals are people, they have souls, and they need to be protected. And this is what this is all about. There was a complaint by the international authorities that the Caribbean governments are not doing enough against human trafficking, and this is an initiative that goes along that thought, and this is protecting the interests of these individuals. I believe the church should have an interest in discussing with us how best we can go forward with this initiative, because it is a conversation that has to happen. We are open to discussion. We're hoping that people from the general public, people from the governmental sector, even the churches, to give us feedback on how best we could bring this into effect, because it is an issue that has to be addressed. We do not have all the answers. We have put together a very comprehensive, a very well thought out proposal for governments to capitalize on an activity which is happening, and it is going to address a lot of the concerns that they already have, the concerns that the church already has, and many of the concerns that the general populace have and have had for many years. So we're hoping that we can get feedback, that we can start the conversation. I would ideally like to have or hold a number of town hall meetings and have open discussion with people so that everybody's opinions can be heard and we can put together a proposal that is even more comprehensive than we've already done so far.